So now we move on to our candidates on my right. Welcome. You guys know the format. We will start, as I've been typically doing, with the one furthest from me. Mr. Smith, if you do your opening statement.
Thank you, Derek. I am Rick Smith, and for those of you that don't know, I've proudly represented all of you as your council member on Place 8 with the City of Plano. That's great, but let me tell you something, it's my opinion. Tonight is not about me, it's not about any of our fine candidates, it's about you. And I want to tell you, you have cared enough to come out in person to witness tonight, to hear the questions, to see our expressions, to see what we look like. And God bless you for doing that, because I can't tell you, I'm so tired of doing things and seeing a video box and everybody, there may be a cat. I mean, who knows, at any point in time. So thank you for coming out here tonight. But some of you may not know me, so let me tell you a little bit about who I am. I'm a 34-year resident of the City of Plano. This is the longest my wife and I have ever lived in one place. I come out of the corporate world. I've lived all over the United States, everywhere from LA to North Carolina. Plano is home. This is where we've been, this is where we're going to stay. I really love this city. I chose to get involved in it over 10 years ago as a city volunteer. I started out with going through the Plano Citizens Police Academy, graduated from there, went to their CAP program where we actually went out on the street and did patrols to free up our real officers' time so they could concentrate on catching bad guys. I've done that. I'm a member of the Community Emergency Response Team, done a lot of things, but nothing as thrilling and as important as representing you for the last 4 years. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, my name's Elisa Klein, and you've probably seen my billboards around town. I'm that lady in the red dress. I'm actually wearing that same dress right now. I've been here since I was a teenager. My parents moved here because they knew that Plano had the best education around. My sisters and I all graduated from Plano East, and I'm happy to report that my mom and dad still live here. One of my sisters lives here, and the other one lives in McKinney, so we'll forgive her for that. But just to tell you guys a little bit about me, I am a small business owner. So my husband and I run our own IT consulting company. I graduated from Texas Tech. I married a Lubbock boy. I go back for games all the time, so go Red Raiders. And I have 2 kids, one that is 8 years old in 3rd grade at Matthews, and one that's 12 years old at Schimmelpfennig. I also have worked in government. I have this unique experience, a blend of experience that includes working for cities and also working in the private sector. So I bring that perspective with me. And I'm happy to be here. Like Rick said, this is very refreshing to see you all face to face and get to interact with you. So I want to thank all the organizations from the Republican Party who invited us here. Thank you. And Rick promised me you wouldn't throw anything at me, so thank you.
And with that, Ms. Klein is going to answer our first question. As we talked about earlier, law enforcement and support for law enforcement and also multifamily dwellings are both hot topics. We're going to combine those two with this question. Do you believe the increase in apartments and multifamily dwellings in the city affected the police department's ability to perform their jobs? And what special concerns does apartment layouts have on safety of officers, if any? And I can repeat that question to you guys if you need to.
Yes.
All right, yeah, it's a long one. So, do you believe the increase in apartments and multifamily dwellings in the city has affected the police department's ability to perform their jobs? And what special concerns does an apartment layout have on the safety of officers, if any?
First of all, I want to say that public safety is one of my top priorities. We are one of the safest places to live in the nation, and there's a reason for that. I support our public safety officers, so much so that I've gotten to know them in my community. Last year, there was an incident where one of the police officers risked his life when there was someone who was stabbing a person in a car. He intervened. Well, my community, the moms in my neighborhood, we were awestruck that this happened less than a mile away. We went and we talked to the police officers. We took lunch to them. We wanted to sit and let them know that we felt for them, that we love their support, and that we appreciate them. So I think that the types of housing that we have do matter, and I want to make sure I support public funds towards our police officers, because that's not something that I'm willing to compromise on. Thank you.
Okay, the question is, what do we think that multifamily and crime kind of go together and create more, I guess, issues for our public safety folks? Let me say that just because someone lives in an apartment doesn't make them a bad person. Okay, let's get that straight. But what it does do, when you jam a lot of people into any place and you have a lot of automobiles parked out and about, totally unsecure, you're creating an invitation in some cases to have a criminal element, come in and do things that they might not necessarily do in a single-family suburb, because you have neighbors who know each other looking out for each other. So can it increase crime? Yes. Are people who live in apartments bad? No. And I want to tell you, as far as supporting the police, I'm very proud to announce that I have been endorsed by the Plano Police Association and, importantly, the Plano Firefighters Association. So public safety is my key concern, but let's just keep supporting them as much as we can and keep them safe when we can.
And our second question, Rick, this comes to you. It's a little longer as well. I'm going to give some context first. In the summer of 2020, as many of you know, a special meeting at the Plano City Council was called to discuss a proposed face covering ordinance and its potential impact on local businesses. So the question, are you in favor of this and other ordinances such as this that may require businesses to enforce the ordinance with their customers? If so, what fines and or enforcement would you deem necessary to ensure business compliance? I'm going to read it again, if I can find the right place to start with. Are you in favor of ordinances such as this that may require businesses to enforce the ordinance with their customers? And if so, what fines and or enforcement would you deem necessary to ensure business compliance?
Thank you, dear. Okay, let's give a little context to this. A little over a year ago, we were just getting into the whole COVID crisis. Not a lot was known about it. Things started to look worse and worse and worse. So as Derek said, we had an emergency meeting called rather quickly to consider an ordinance or a mandate to require that all people in Plano wear face masks. And wearing a face mask is fine. I wear a face mask. I think you respect other people when you try to protect them and protect yourselves from any type of outside virus. But this ordinance was not written very well, because what it did is it made our businesses the police. So someone could come in and be violating this all day long, they're fine. But our businesses could be fined, and I was not going to support that. So I voted against it. However, 5 of us did get together, and instead of voting the mandate, we voted to strongly recommend a mask requirement that people wear that. So I was not going to put the onus on our business. I'm a small business owner, and I was not going to put another requirement on them, but I think it's a personal choice now. So thank you, Derek, for letting me talk about that.
Look at it from a business owner point of view. I've gotten to know Julie Homer very well in this campaign process, and she's told me some stories that are just really cool. But one of the things we talked about was the onus of the businesses and how city ordinances affect those business owners. She told me a story about how when there was no vaping ordinance, it was on her as a small business owner to pick one clientele over the other. So I believe that ordinances are there to protect our business owners and to be that level of support for them so that these business owners don't have to make those decisions. Like I said, I'm a small business owner. I think the city's here to help us do a better job, and that's what I would support. Thank you.
And don't get too comfortable, because you are up for our 1.5-minute closing. Thank you so much.
Everybody talked about how good looking their family is, so I'm going to show y'all mine. There it is. I love this town. It has provided me with the education to set me on a trajectory to be where I am today. I'm originally from El Salvador, and I feel like I live the American dream. My parents still live in the house where we moved to when I was a teenager, and I remember looking across, going to Davis Library, and being like, wow, how cool must it be to live in that neighborhood Whiffletree? I live there now. That's amazing. That's the kind of place that we live in. My first job out of college was working here at McAfee because we had these great leaders that worked with businesses to bring them here. McAfee came from California, provided us with jobs. Jobs are an important thing that I will help promote. Again, I also support public safety and our first responders, and in addition to that, I just want to keep this place excellent like it is. Thank you for your time, guys.
Okay, as I said, I've been serving you for 4 years on Plano City Council. And I just want to tell you, nothing has given me more pleasure than to serve the community that I love. This is our home. As I say, my wife and I have lived here longer than we lived anywhere in the country. We've lived a lot of different places, and Plano, it is home. Why is it home? Again, it's because of you. It's because of the people. Why did I get involved and want to serve? Because I wanted to see good things happen for this community. When I first moved here, we were about 70,000 people. Preston Road was 2 lane. Anybody remember that? 75 was 4 lanes, 2 on each side. So we've seen a lot of growth. And the one thing that I got involved in very, very heavily was I kept seeing taxes go up and up. And as we talked about earlier, I think you can have a fine balance. You can balance your budget. We have to balance our budgets as homeowners and individuals. I know my wife will kill me if I don't. But I think we can do that as a city. And we proved that when you elect 4 conservatives to the Plano City Council, the sky does not fall. That's what everybody said was going to happen. It was going to be horrible. Thank you. We've proved that we think like normal people. We take the best interest of the city at heart in every decision that we make. I will continue to do that for the next 4 years if you are kind enough to get out and vote and re-elect me to Plano City Council. This is what I'm living for right now, because I have no further aspirations, Derek, except to be a realtor like my good friend here, Derek.
Thank you. I believe I see all the candidates still hanging out. They'd love to talk to you after. Just a reminder to follow up them after that.